One of our major flaws as humans is that you can really only think in extremes. If your boss texts you right now and says, "Call me immediately," you start to play back in your head every bad thing that you've ever done and question whether or not today is the day that you get fired. So relate that back to trading. You tend to only be able to think in extremes. You really just want the bull market or the bear market. 100K tomorrow or zero tomorrow, and Capo was right. Not really too much in between. That's not reality. You have to be able to navigate what I call the gray zone. The gray zone is where we're not in a bull market, we're not in a bear market, it's just the market. There's nuances, there's context, there's a lot going on, and you have to be able to tell a story. You kind of need to be able to give a foundation to that story and adjust to all the new characters and all the new events that happen in the meantime. So, for today's video, our BTC analysis, I'm going to do exactly that. We're going to sit here and discuss what our Bitcoin analysis currently is, and I'm going to try and make it somewhat entertaining and tell the story to you in a way that even a 4-year-old can understand. So let's get into it. On a very local scale, this is simply a range, right? I know that I'm not on the correct time frame. If we were to zoom in, you can kind of see it a little bit better. The hourly 200s do portray a very solid local trend, or at least they did. However, now the most efficient way of assessing whatever is currently happening is essentially we're just trading between 29.6 and like 28.8. Everything in between that is mostly just noise. Most of you are not sitting here with 100x leverage trading a 2% range. Let's just be honest. But that is the context that's available to us in the most locally relevant scale. So now we have that little glimpse of insight as to what's affecting us most recently. Let's kind of zoom out and broaden the outlook now, go back to this 4-hour time frame where we can understand, because even a 4-year-old could understand, that we are downtrending. However you want to portray that analysis is totally up to you. But for my system, there are three things that I look for. I look for market structure, in which case this is a bearish trend because we're creating consistent lower highs and lower lows. I have moving averages, which the 4-hour 200s, while they're not the most amazing portrayal as of recent, they are historically relevant for BTC, and they are what I used most recently to catch this move towards the upside in the first place. Oftentimes, you'll find that your validation or your justification as to why you're allowed to expect a certain thing for price action, that's also your invalidation. Not to go off on a tangent here, but if your bullish argument is the daily market structure is uptrending and our 4-hour 200s are portraying that uptrend, then the invalidation to that argument is when our daily market structure breaks bearishly and you're no longer holding the 4-hour 200s as support. So very easily you can see that based on my system, I'm not allowed to be bullish on that kind of a time frame. I have to assume that the downtrend that is a downtrend, because all of my system agrees that we are downtrending, is actually a downtrend. Whether that means that I'm going to assess that because we broke down below this range, so a horizontal level now being traded and used as resistance, or if I'm going to assess market structure and use highs and lows, or if I'm going to assess my moving averages. All three of those things only allow me to justify downside. That's my context. Let's quickly wrap it up. On a local scale, we're going sideways. That's a neutral argument. There's not really too much bias in that. In fact, the trend is that there is no trend. On a higher time frame than that, we are downtrending. I have no bullish arguments for you. Yes, this is a test of a support level, but why would I imagine that it means anything more than any of the support levels prior to that? I wouldn't. I put merit on trends. I don't really care about the level itself. Not going to neglect this level, but it is just doing the bare minimum. Support is supporting price. It's not allowing it to break through yet. That in itself is not necessarily a bullish argument. So we have that local time frame understood. We have the higher time frame bias along with that. The only other thing we need is that foundation. On the highest of time frames, we are still uptrending since the start of the year. Mercury, that sounds like an absurd argument. Well, it's the same argument that I gave you at these lows as well. Even though I'm bear posting for all of these 2 months because the 2-hour 200s broke and our daily market structure was flipped bearishly, I did not lose sight of the highest of time frames bullish argument that lingered. Instead, what I did is I gave myself a portrayal for that argument so that I wouldn't be the person still coping and saying, oh, we're still bullish, we're still bullish, we're still bullish, still bullish, 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 until this low breaks. I dwindled it down to be able to have a general kind of region where I assumed either that argument persists and wins the same way that it has since the start of the year, or not at all. Meaning, this was probably a macro top. If you subscribe to the echo bubble theory, that was probably the end of the echo bubble upon losing this 25K daily demand zone and those 200 daily moving averages. That also meant it was the ideal spot for us to maintain that argument and reverse and even continue the trend since the start of the year. Again, trends are trends. They will remain trends until they break. So it's our job to come in and kind of find a region where that trend may persist, or we are allowed to justify invalidating that trend and kind of giving up hope on it. This is not hindsight analysis. Everything that I just stated is fully recorded on a day-to-day basis in my free Discord, by the way. And if you stick to the end of this video, I have an exciting announcement for you. But anyways, I digress. Our context is set in stone. That's now the foundation that we work with moving forward. We have the highest of time frames understanding that we've been bullish and uptrending since the start of the year. That's now an 8-month-long uptrend. We don't really want to neglect that. That's how you very easily end up coping and sidelined during any single one of these higher highs throughout the year. You really don't want to succumb to myopia. Myopia meaning short-sightedness. All you're able to see is the extreme of downside just simply because of what's happened most recently. I know that this is the case because during these lows, my Twitter feed was arguing which market is more brutal, 2019 or 2023. And I'm not sure if we're looking at the same market, but even when Bitcoin was trading at this low, we were still up 50% from year to day. I don't know how you can look at that market and justify that it's brutal. It kind of just sounds like you've missed out on the rallies all year. Maybe that's arrogant. I don't know. But the chart doesn't lie. So you have to have that understanding of context. The market is not always going to be black and white. We're not always just going to uptrend on every single time frame from the 1 minute to the weekly. We're not always just going to downtrend on every single time frame from the 1 minute to the weekly. Most of your time spent trading, and when I say most, I mean 90% of the time that you trade markets, you are trading the gray zone. There's context. We can be bullish on one time frame, bearish on another, sideways on another, bullish on another, bearish on the time frame below that. A lot of the times that is exactly the case. You have to be able to break down the puzzle and understand each piece with the utmost clarity, and then be able to piece that puzzle together to have a clear understanding of what's going on for that asset that you're watching. The people who do this, in my opinion, are able to navigate markets with the utmost efficiency and probably do incredibly well for themselves in a long-term basis. So other than that, I did promise you guys an exciting announcement, and that announcement is, if you've ever asked Merc when paid group, it's here now. The only difference is it's a private Discord and it's not really a paid group. Truthfully, I don't subscribe to the idea of copying somebody to become successful. I've been parts of paid groups before, whether that means as a member myself or even just a community manager. From my personal experience, they do not work. Even when the group itself does incredibly well, somehow, some way, 70% of its members manage to find themselves on the wrong side of the trade, or paper handing, or fumbling, or whatever it may be, any sort of excuse, maybe because of a different time zone, etc. And it's not really the way that I wish to operate. Instead, my private Discord is solely focused on building traders, building mindsets, all of the stuff that you've seen in that educational playlist. We implement that into the market in a real-time basis and consistently find ourselves on the right side of trends and manage to extract value from the market regardless of direction. If you join the group, it consists of the daily market updates that you see in my free Discord already, live streams 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, top 5, top 6 kind of altcoins that I'll be watching personally throughout the week. I go through those live, by the way, and then give quick write-ups thereafter. On-demand technical analysis, meaning you can tag me in chat at any given time and I will come back at you with a chart as soon as possible. And I also do send my trade ideas on the market. Anything that triggers a valid setup for what I see per my system at any given time. But again, those trade ideas are not your typical copy paste profit and somehow miraculously turn yourself into a successful trader, even though you know nothing about markets. It's more so just a template to show what is it that I personally look for when I come in and approach the market. I'm also just frequently active in that Discord because the honest truth is that Discord has been running for over a year now and it's just contained family and friends. But from this point forward, that group is now open exclusively to anyone who's trading on my Bybit or Femex referral links. So if you're interested, all you have to do is sign up to either Bybit or Femex and then shoot me a message and let me know your user ID when you're done. Now, Bybit has a very strict KYC restriction, but Femex does not. In my humble opinion, Femex is the best non-KYC exchange out there at the moment. As a side note, if you're already KYC'd on Bybit and you do wish to join this Discord, there's a way for you to register a new account and transfer KYC from your current account into the new account that you registered underneath my referral link. So if you guys are interested, the offer remains on the table. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, much love and take it easy.